Hey everyone, thought it was time to go ahead and do a more formal 100-mile review on my Lectric. See here, I've actually got 101 miles on it. And I want you to keep in mind too, when I went shopping for an electric bike, I did not have the intention of buying the bike to go extreme long distance, until the battery's almost dead and do all this and that. I bought the bike to give myself a fairly reliable ease of access, since walking distance is actually extremely difficult to me due to various reasons and whatnot. And the electric bikes are fairly reliable. This is not like riding a motorcycle as far as the weight of the bike. Yes, the bike weighs about 65 pounds, plus any added weight that you add to the bike. But on electric, compared to a motorcycle, anyone that's ridden a motorcycle, and I used to back in my younger days, you have a hell of a lot more weight. And if you have any type of hip problems, knee problems, I have nerve damage in my legs. This bike is also a form of therapy. I know the people from the street, when they see you riding the bike and pedaling, they're like, oh, what the hell, right? But the fact is, all of us electric bike owners know that you set your power assist. And even though to someone on the street, you look like you might be just really cranking out the pedaling power, right? The fact is, you can adjust that pedal assist where you are basically ghost pedaling if you want to be ghost pedaling. Not to mention, you have independent throttle control. It's another nice thing. Of course, that's standard on, any e-bike. Just about any e-bike. Now, my 100-mile review, I'm going to break into two categories. The things that I had to do out of necessity and the things that I did out of preference. So out of necessity, what I had to do, the brakes on the bike were just trouble right out of the box. I did not have any bent rotors or anything like that, but I did have to readjust the brakes. And I've done videos on readjusting the brakes. And first of all, that is normal as your bike breaks in, because the cables do get a little bit of stretch. Things start to break in. And you're going to have to do that. And if you can't do that on your own, take it to a bike shop, have them do those adjustments. But I highly recommend you guys that have a reasonable level of competency to look at some instructional guides, beginning with reading your user manual for your bike, and go from there. It's not hard to do a lot of the things on your bike that are standard maintenance, okay? Like tightening your cable tension, lubricating your chain, things like that, okay? I had to do a slight adjustment on the rear derailleur as well. It was having a few little hiccups there. It'd go into a gear, but not want to sit into a gear. That's also a very simple adjustment with the barrel adjuster on your rear derailleur. Nothing else there really has to be said about that. As far as upgrades I did to the bike out of my own personal preference and some out of necessity, suspension seat post. I did not get a high dollar suspension seat post. This is a $30 suspension seat post. And I finally settled on this Cloud 9 seat right here. This seems to work very well for my butt so far. I've gone through I think 4 different seats trying to get this puppy figured out. That one feels good to me. I did change the stock tires. I went originally with CST big boat tires, 20x3, because they do have a protective built-in puncture resistant liner into the tires. And I also went with the Tannis inserts, which turned out to be a big mistake. A lot of money down the drain. I also have other videos on that talking about and showing how the Tannis totally decompresses, and it does not recompress, contrary to what was said in the advertisement for it. And yes, the run flat capability might work just fine on a standard mountain bike, a smaller bike. On an e-bike, forget it, it's not going to work. I guarantee you that. I bought the back bag for the bike. Obviously, we all need a bag for whatever reasons. Carry our little survival kits with us, odds and ends, etc., etc. The nice heavy-duty rack on the bike comes with the bike. That is a really nice bonus. Let me tell you what, that thing does well. And of course, the suspension, front suspension with the Lectric XP 2.0 versions is now standard with them. I would highly suggest you replace your pedals, the stock pedals that come with them, the kind that you push and they fold up. Those things are just, they're a pain in the ass. Your feet slide off of them and everything. Get rid of them. Get some new pedals. I did replace my freewheel on the back for two reasons. Number one, my highest gear has better pedaling capability if I'm needing to go higher speeds. And of course, the lowest gear is a 34 tooth because I went with an 1134 freewheel. And that is a must on hills, especially if you do have leg or joint issues and you need to have that extra kind of free sensation when you're pedaling your bike. You guys that have been on bikes, you know what I'm talking about. You can't have some hard compression trying to go up a hill, even with motor assist. And speaking of motors, the electric motor, 500 watt standard, 800 watt maximum output. It does okay on moderate hills, all right? But that also depends on the kind of terrain that you are on and the weight of yourself as a rider. Myself, I weigh just over 200 pounds. And we'll talk about losing weight on these bikes in a future video, because I actually weighed, believe it or not, about 20 pounds more when I got this bike. So you dial up the kind of exercise that works for you without hurting yourself. I mean, really, the bikes can be a form of physical therapy. I know for a fact there's people out there that have had, say, knee replacements, and the electric bikes have helped with their recovery with their knees. So don't tell me that riding an e-bike is way more complex than riding a motorcycle or getting into a car and driving the car. Honestly, for me, getting inside of a car, sitting in a car, and getting out of a car takes way more range of motion than getting on the bike. Other things I added to the bike, obviously, a mirror. A mirror of your choice is a must for your safety, guys. Don't renege on that. Got my phone holder here. Really nice phone holder. Of course, I got the makeshift thumb throttle thing that I was talking about. Got my water bottle holder right down here. I might change to a metal rack that goes here instead, because this thing could wear out and then you end up having it tear down and fall and it turn into a pain in the ass. My bike helmet, I got basically as a version of a motorcycle helmet right here. Works pretty good. And I'm experimenting with this front mount for doing recording and whatnot. This also has GoPro capability, but I do not have a GoPro. Obviously, that would take further funding down the road to get something like that. But yeah. So that's kind of my story with my 100-mile review. I've experienced no problems with the battery, no problems with the electrical system on the bike. I've kept the bike clean, wiped down. All I can really say is, take care of your bike. I've seen a lot of videos of people that just, their bikes are just caked with dirt in this way and that way. And it's like, well, depends on the environment you live in. I live here on the coast. I don't want all that gum and gunk and extra moisture sitting on the bike, with the salt content that's going to be there just from living on the coast. So, yep, other than that, I'll be doing some more testing, experimenting with the helmet mount for video recording, see how that goes. And if I get lucky enough and can afford it down the road, I'll get a GoPro. I'd love to get one, but, we aren't rich, and these bikes, I tell you what, are way cheaper than, hey, let's go buy a car, or let's put money into a car, or pay that licensing fee, all the gas fee. So I know when I get this bike paid off, I'm going to buy another one. Of course, I have a secondary one here too, a Rad Mini 4. And I don't know, I'm looking at some other models. I'm really curious about trying out a mid-drive bike as well. So, but we'll let the cards fall where they might on that. That's a future type of endeavor. But yeah, that's my 100-mile review on my Lectric XP 2.0, guys. It's a good bike. I recommend it. And no, I'm not sponsored to be saying this type of shit. This is my personal experience with the bike, at least my first 100 miles. So hope you guys have a great time and experience with your first 100 miles. If you've had the bike or if you plan on getting one for a budget bike, yes, I would recommend it. Other than that, you guys keep safe out there riding. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.